Hey guys, let's talk about last night's winter finale of Scandal, because it was definitely interesting. I must say though, you guys, like as a whole, I was just a tad bit disappointed in the winter finale, especially after last week's episode. If I compare the two, last week's definitely had more punch to it. I mean, the ending of last week's episode was just absolutely shocking. And don't get me wrong, I mean, there were some fantastic moments in this week's episode. I just felt like for a winter finale, I was expecting a little bit more. One of the highlights of the winter finale for me was Joe Morton, Olivia's dad, man. In that scene with him and Fitz in the Pentagon when he's like strapped to the chair and he's got that white t-shirt on and he pretty much just tells Fitz what it is. He pretty much tells Fitz why he thinks Fitz is a boy and he's a man. And that whole monologue, I mean, it was just so well written, but not just that, I mean, like Joe Morton was amazing. Like as he gave it, it's like, I don't always love Papa Pope, but in that moment, I was just like, okay, now I wanted to be like, amen to some of that, because some of it was so true. Let's talk about the title of the episode, right? Because during Rowan's whole rant, that is something that he actually says to Fitz. Like, you look at my daughter like she is a door marked exit. She is the thing that is going to get you out of this life that you never really wanted. And basically, I don't want you to use her that way. I totally think that Fitz looks at Olivia like that. I do think he like genuinely loves her, but at the same time, I think Olivia has also become this kind of like this dream and this fantasy of the life that Fitz really wants to live. And if I can just be with her, then those things can come true. And yeah, I don't know, you guys. I just thought that moment was really deep. And I loved the title of this week's episode. Okay, let's talk about Sally Langston, you guys, because obviously the big bomb at the end of last week's episode was us finding out that she had killed her husband. And so at the beginning of this episode, we see that flashback. We actually see this huge argument between Sally and Daniel. And we see that he pretty much tells her that he's gonna leave and he's gonna tell the world about her. And next thing you know, she's picking up the letter opener to stab him in the back. He says something to her basically like, I've got the balls and you don't. And in the end, I think Sally did have the balls. You guys, this woman stabbed this man in the back and sat down and took off her heels like she had just worked a hard day in the office. And then calls Cyrus, of course, to come clean up her mess. So Cyrus calls Charlie, who has Quinn with him, of course. They do the crime scene cleanup, and they basically make it look like this man died of a heart attack. In that moment, though, you kind of saw Cyrus realize that his little kind of political play had way deeper consequences than he ever realized. And you saw him really kind of take on the responsibility of what had happened. Now, as soon as James gets a whiff of the fact that Daniel is dead, he immediately thinks Cyrus has done something. And so he decides to go to David Rosen, but David is not hearing any of it because the last time he lost his job, it was really because of James, because James lied on the stand. And so he tells James basically to kick rocks. But then this random lady named Shelby, who used to work at the NSA or for the NSA, shows up in David Rosen's office with a recording of the phone conversation between Cyrus and Sally Langston. So they've got the recording of Sally calling Cyrus to say, I have sinned. And so something tells me that David Rosen is about to get himself into trouble yet again. Let's talk about Olivia's mom, right? Because this week, I feel like we finally answered some of the questions around her. At first, as they're investigating her, they're realizing that she's this person who sold secrets. You know, as Abby said, she didn't really have any blood on her hands. And since she's been in jail for like 20-something years, maybe she's already done her time. But by the end of the episode, we get an explanation for the plane crash. So in the end, it turns out that Mama Pope lied to Rowan. She told him there was a bomb on the plane. He thought, oh my gosh, if this plane gets to where it's going to kill, you know, thousands of people. And that was why he ordered Fitz to shoot the plane down. But in the end, there was no bomb. And so all those people really died for nothing. They think they're going to recapture her, right, when the plane lands in Hong Kong, but that never happens. And by the very end of the episode, we see her giving Olivia a call to tell her, like, I'll be seeing you soon. And we also get that she's still in Washington, D.C. I'm not really sure about Mama Pope, like what her intentions with Olivia are and kind of where we're going with her. So I'm kind of excited to see that storyline develop. Let's talk about Quinn and B613. She goes in as a mole and really to kind of kill Rowan. But something happens at the last minute that doesn't allow that to happen, and so she's kind of trapped. She does manage to escape, and she makes her way back to Pope and Associates, but Huck is pretty much like, you don't belong here anymore, and he revokes her gladiator card. And so we kind of see him push her back into the arms of Charlie. So I'm not really quite sure what's up with Quinn at this moment. I'm just not sure who Quinn is loyal to at this moment. I definitely don't agree with some of the crap that Huck did, and I know he's trying to protect Olivia because that's what Huck does. But at the same time, come on now. Come on now. It was just a bit much with Huck. And even him telling her you're not a gladiator anymore, I just kind of felt like only Olivia should have the authority to degladerize someone. I can't believe I'm actually defending Quinn. I mean, like, she's driven me crazy this whole season. But for some reason, the last couple episodes, I've really been feeling her and rooting for her, so I don't know what's going to happen with her next. The one shocker in this episode was when Rowan tried to go back to work and we realized that Jake is now command and that Rowan doesn't have a job anymore. I thought that was an interesting twist. Probably the best twist in this episode. What did you guys think of the Jake and Olivia moment? I know so many of you hate Jake, but you know, I was kind of feeling Jake tonight. When he told Olivia, like, I loved you. Like, I really did love you and I'm leaving now, because of course he was going to be command, but he didn't tell her that. I love that little twist because we get that it was Fitz's doing. You know, it's his way to kind of control what's going on at B613. So yeah, you guys, winter finale. And Scandal doesn't mess around with winter finale. That means it's not coming back till the end of February, you guys. That's like more than 2 months from now, which really kind of sucks. I would love to hear what you guys thought about this week's episode. What was your favorite part, your least favorite part? And yeah, I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.